and today is going to be a story time on the time I got caught drinking in school. Now, before I get into the story, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer that I do not condone drinking. And I learned my lesson. Like, I haven't touched an alcoholic beverage since the time I got caught, which is a good thing because I'm like only 14. So yeah, so it was Tuesday in the start of January 2017. So this happened 3 years ago, and my mom had like white rum, so it was like clear. So one morning I put it in a water bottle, and you know when water is like hot, it's like clear, like it doesn't look like you know when water has like, you know what I mean, right? So it was like clear or whatever, right? So I put that, and I went to school, and I went to the cafeteria. Now, usually my school, old school, did the Pledge of Allegiance in the cafeteria before we went to class. And before we did the Pledge of Allegiance, people had time to eat or whatever. Me, I don't eat school-related food because that shit is nasty as fuck. So I went there and I saw a couple of my friends, and I took out the water bottle that had the liquor inside, and I started drinking it. And you know when you start drinking liquor, it's like a burning feeling on your throat. So they was like, since this was wrong, I'm like, this is liquor. They was like, oh, and I was like, you want to try? And they said no at first, but then I like said, like, come on, it's not anything bad. So they tried it or whatever, and basically it was going around the table, and it got to one boy. I don't want to say his real name, so I'm gonna just call him Ronald. It got to Ronald, and Ronald refused. However, I didn't like Ronald. Like, now Ronald and I go to the same school, but we're like chill. Like I don't got a good vibe with him, basically. And Ronald was just watching us, and we was having a good time. Me and my friends at the table, we was passing it around. And then it got to one friend, she tried it and she spit it out eventually. And it was just crazy, it was fun. But when it was time to say the Pledge of Allegiance, together with your homeroom class, I saw the dean and the assistant principal and the guidance counselor together. And the guidance counselor came to me, and he was like, do you have an alcoholic beverage that's in a water bottle? When he said that, my heart dropped straight to my ass. Like, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get caught. So I was like, no, like, I was stuttering, and I was like, no, I don't got nothing. Like, who wants to admit to something that they know is wrong, right? So I gave the water bottle, it was like empty already, it only had like a little bit left. I gave it to my other friend. I'ma just call him Chris. And Chris took the water bottle to the 5th floor boys' bathroom like a dumbass. He put it in the boys' bathroom trash can, and the guidance counselor was a man, so he obviously had access to the boys' bathroom. So I gave it to Chris, and Chris threw it away, and I got upstairs. I was panicking. I was telling my friends like, yo, like, they caught us, right? So we, like that day, I remember we had a new dean, and he was presenting himself, and I was just bawling out crying. While the new dean was talking, I was bawling out crying. I was like, I'm gonna get caught. Like I was saying that to myself, right? And then it came a time when they pulled me out, and they took me to the second floor where the principal's office was at, and they had the water bottle there. And you know, they have like little notes and stuff in the principal's office. So the principal was a man. He's cool. The principal is amazing. Like I remember some other times, like the principal was amazing, and he was basically like, is this yours? And mind you, the water bottle that I had, it had a G on top of it. Cause in my house, we like have like different like water bottles. Like right now we have Cherry Valley water bottles. And so my mom and I won't get confused on which water bottles is whose. I put a G on mine cause my name is Genesis. So I was like, no. Like at first I was like, no, it's not mine. He was like, stop lying. I was like, no, it's not mine. He was like, stop lying, it's yours. And so he knew that it was mine. So I was like, fine, yes, it was mine. Yeah, it was mine and whatever. And basically he was like, so who you shared it with? He already had some names down already. And he was like, oh, if you tell me their names, everything will get resolved quicker. You will face less consequences. I was debating whether or not to snitch on my friends. And turns out I did. And I regret doing that because, you know, ops never get trusted. But I did. That was past me. If that was future me, I would have slapped myself. Like, come on now, you don't op on nobody. So that happened. I told them the names. They pulled them out. We was all in a group, and they basically had like a conference. They made us write our parents' phone number and email address, and they called my mom and everything. And my dad came at first, right? So my dad, he came and he was like, what happened? And I started crying, and I didn't say a word. And the principal told him what I did. He was like, oh, Genesis came with an alcoholic beverage to school and she distributed it to so and so. And then I was crying even more because now he knows the truth. So I was crying, and then my dad looked at me, and then we went to the nurse's room, which was across from the principal's room, and he was telling me, why did you do that, Jenny? Like, my nickname is Jenny. So he was like, why did you do that, Jenny? Like, what's wrong with you and stuff like that. And basically, my mom came in, bro. When my mom came in, because my mom is the one that gives me the ass whoopings. Like, oh my God, like, ooh. Bro, I was praying. Like, I don't even pray, but I was praying. And basically, my mom came in with my home health aide at the time. And they was basically like talking or whatever, and they told me that I had a superintendent suspension. Over here in New York, that means 10 to 30 day suspension, and you have to go to another school to do the suspension. But my mom don't let me travel by train, so I just took the absences. And basically, one day I had a fair hearing to know whether or not they'll accept me back in the school. But my dad made me write an apology letter to the principal. And oh my God, I wrote that letter so quick. I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, this and this and that. Like, I don't have the letter no more, but, well, I think I do. It's like in one of my mom's folders because she keeps records. So basically, I had a fair hearing one day. It was like the 5th day of my suspension. I had a fair hearing and they did not want to let me back in school. Like, they wanted to expel me. But once I gave them the apology letter, then he was like, finish your 10-day suspension and come back to school. However, if you do something else, you'll get expelled. And he told me that that'll stay on my record, and if I stay out of trouble for 1 year, it'll get expunged. Long story short, it got expunged out of my record, thank God. Well, now it's going back because I'm telling it to y'all, but that's the story of the time I got caught. Moral of the story is, don't drink if you're underage, but if you do, because I know there's a lot of stubborn people out there, be careful. Like, be careful. Be careful who you offer it to, and be careful who you think is gonna snitch, because like I say, that snitch is now in my school, and like I still hold a grudge against him. So yeah, but like I kind of like, it's like the past, but still like you snitched. So everything I do, I gotta keep it on down low because I know he's a snitch. But yeah, that was the story. Hopefully you had a good time listening to my story. I know this is boring. I just wanted to do something because I'm bored in my life. I don't know if this channel is going to be anywhere in the future. I don't even think I'm gonna get subscribers. Like, I might just stay at 0 subscribers, but who knows? So yeah, that was the story. Hopefully you have a good day. Stay safe, quarantine, practice social distancing, and yeah, bye pigeons.